just going to sit here.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Wait. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Freedom Forum 2.
We're back.
The third month, the 23rd day. Oh, we're back.
We're back.
The year 2016. All I want to say is a short prayer. God, Lord, bless all those people in this room. Bless the people that are working to make our country a better country, and not the evil ones who want to take everything for granted, and not the ones that want to come here and change us. In your name we pray. Amen.
We want to give you a little update about Tom. His condition hasn't changed much. Thoughts and prayers for Tom. We're still requesting those, and if you have any donations, you can still go to his GoFundMe account under his name. The situation with Tom is ongoing. It doesn't look like we're having a very marked improvement, and we just hope that people would continue to donate to help defray the medical costs and pray. That's the best we can say, because
All we can do is ask for your prayers.
Tom's in a dire way, and we hope that
We definitely miss him.
Yep.
Go ahead, caller. Hello.
I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I want to thank you guys for the great job y'all are doing in defending our country by exposing this Muslim situation and not being afraid to talk about it. You guys are fearless, and God is going to protect you. And if you if you get knocked out, both you guys are going to go straight to heaven. But you're doing what God wants y'all to do. And Jim, I want you to read a little bit from the Communist Manifesto, on Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto. Just give them an idea, it'll help them understand what's going on. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
All right, thank you. We can do that.
Fire away. We just happen to have it.
Just happened to be in my notes. Although Marx advocated the use of any means, especially including violent revolution, to bring about socialist dictatorship, he suggested 10 political goals for the developed countries such as the United States. How far has the United States, traditionally the bastion of freedom, free markets, and private property, going down the Marcus Road?
Pretty quick.
To fulfill these socialist aims. You be the judge. The following are Marx's 10 planks from his Communist Manifesto. We talked about the property in the land and application of all rents, land to public purpose. This one, we'll do number 2 and 3. A heavy, progressive, or graduated income tax.
Gee.
When was the first income tax? Who entitled the first income tax?
Wasn't it about 1913?
Somewhere around there. But who brought it to vote? Research it.
There's Democrats.
Yeah. The 16th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution.
Well, there's your date, 1913.
Yeah, I know. I knew it was there. I just wanted to see if
Ooh.
you knew.
See, I got it right. Look at that.
Got
Look
it
at
right.
that. He's a doubter. He doubts
did,
me.
He did good.
Hey, he doubts me. He always doubts me, but I can always come up with the good. See?
I didn't doubt him. I just tested him.
Uh-huh.
The 16th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, 1913,
No.
which some scholars maintain was never properly ratified.
It was not.
And
But they passed it
various
anyway.
state income taxes established this major Marxist coup in the United States many decades ago. Well, 1913, this is 2016, that might be a few decades. Those taxes continue to drain the lifeblood out of the American economy and greatly reduce the accumulation of desperately needed capital for future growth, business starts, job creation, and salary increases. Think about how Obama said our economy is in great shape.
Boy, he smoked some good stuff.
He wasn't lying. When you look at the Marxist deal, it is in great shape
By his standard.
by his standards.
I was going to say he was
We
smoking
cleared
stuff.
that up. We cleared that up. We helped him out.
Oh, yeah.
Cleared it up. Oh, here we go. Number 3. abolition of all rights of inheritance.
Well, there's your tax on inheritance and all the other stuff.
Another Marxian attack on private property rights is in the form of federal and state estate taxes and other inheritance taxes, which have abolished or at least greatly diluted the right of private property owners to determine the disposition and distribution of their estates upon their death.
You know who got around that quite effectively? Once upon a time, Joe Kennedy, daddy of President Kennedy, was a wealthy multimillionaire, possibly a billionaire. And the reason the Kennedys still have their money is because old Joe was a very crafty guy and put money in trusts, in offshore accounts, and in various forms of investment that cannot be touched for taxes.
We got to read the next one. Got to read this one. This is the last one we'll read today. Number 4, confiscation of the property of all immigrants and rebels.
Emphasis on the rebel part.
Yeah. We call it government seizure, tax liens, forfeiture, public law 99-570, 1986, executive order 11490, sections 1205, 2002, which gives private land to the Department of Urban Development. The imprisonment of terrorists.
And then, what's the definition of a terrorist now? That's the
Yeah.
interesting part.
And
that
don't-
can be anybody the government deems to disagree.
Here's it. And it says, and those who speak out or write against the government. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. 1997 crime/terrorist bill.
More George Bush stuff.
Yep. No, Bill Clinton.
Yeah, but Bush is the one who put the teeth into it with the Patriot Act.
Well, there, that. Or the IRS confiscation of property without due process.
Now, let me tell you another confiscation of property. Let's bring
That's just
up
4.
the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Bureau. If ICE happens to do an investigation, and I found this out from talking to an actual agent, if they confiscate your stuff, it is not done before a court. Your stuff is confiscated on one of their little orders, and then a committee of agents meets to see if you get your stuff back. Not a judge, not a court of law, their committee. Oh, and for any of y'all who have ever driven through I-10 going to Texas, been through Vinton, Sulphur, they were famous years ago for their
But they're not in
land
Texas. That's in Louisiana.
on the way to Texas.
Oh, okay.
Is what I said.
Verifying.
On the way to Texas, and they were known as land pirates. In fact, it was so bad, that was back when Geraldo Rivera wasn't a communist and did an expose on the fact if you went down I-10 with more than $200 in your pocket, you were going to contribute to the Vinton City Police Department. And then, if you got any of your money back, it would probably only be a percentage and not the whole amount. But you've done nothing wrong.
Hey, that's why I like the Tahoe's little invention.
What's that?
After we leave here
Oh.
tonight, I'll show you. Joe, you got to see this. They took care of business in the Tahoe.
Oh, by the way, I got some good stuff on the Lavoy Finicum issue. Out there in the Malheur Lavoy Finicum assassination, information has come to light that implicates the White House authorizing the assassination of Lavoy Finicum because emails were sent to the governor that implicate the White House, Valerie Jarrett, in authorizing the kill. Now here's the interesting part. We have documentation that show that the Oregon State Police moved that assassination out of Grant County because they knew that Grant County had a sheriff that is a constitutional sheriff. And Sheriff Glenn Palmer would have interfered in their attempts to kill someone. And they knew that the Sheriff Palmer had contact with the Malheur refugee people and would not be friendly to law enforcement. So folks, this gives further credence to the fact the killing of Lavoy Finicum was a murder, a planned assassination. It was not in any way a traffic stop, as they make it out. Now, let's look at something
He
else
didn't
that's...
even have a gun.
Well, yeah, the one that was planted on him after the fact was not his either.
And
Let's
there
look.
were no guns in the vehicle.
Let's look at something
People
else
gotta know that.
that was very interesting. Right now, the FBI is investigating 5 of their FBI agents from their famous HRT, Hurt Squad. And of course, we remember in the Miami Mad Minute, all they got was hurt. It was interesting. But the current investigation is very interesting. They're not investigating whether Lavoy Finicum was assassinated. They're not investigating the fact that Lavoy Finicum was shot, laid in the snow to die, and no medical treatment was given to him. No, they're not worried about any of that. What are they worried about? That 2 bullet casings that might have proven that an FBI agent shot at Lavoy Finicum were removed from the crime scene. So the FBI is pissed that their little stormtrooper SS guys picked up shell casings and lied. Not the fact they murdered a man, not the fact that they planned to murder a man, not the fact he was not given any medical treatment at all. Folks, this is the depth of depravity that our government has come to. And the fact is, if you want to really make a comparison, let's compare the Malheur refugee people to Ferguson. No one was hurt at Malheur. No one fired a shot. No one destroyed property. No one attacked law enforcement. No one did anything. And yet, the government assassinated Lavoy Finicum. What happened at Ferguson? Oh, they're black. We can't touch them.
Stand
no.
down.
Oh no, they're black people.
Oh,
Folks,
I didn't do that.
Folks, this stuff is getting more and more interesting. And now here we have aerial surveillance footage from the FBI that shows that their own agents bent over, picked up their brass, and then lied about it. And then we have Deschutes County Sheriff Shane Nelson, Malheur County District Attorney Dan Norris supervising the investigation and stating that it was a justifiable shoot. Now, let's drop the other shoe. We have political officials from Nevada who are now stating that they were up in Oregon and that a Nevada grand jury may try to indict people who were at the Bundy Ranch. Not the feds. Locals. You just can't make this stuff up. So you go out and you do an armed protest, and the BLM can turn attack dogs loose on pregnant people, can taser cancer patients who have no law enforcement authority whatsoever. Oh, and that's all okay. But oh no, let honest citizens show up with guns. Oh my God, we've got to prosecute them. They've defied the will of Caesar. Oh my God. This, folks, you just can't make this stuff up. Here's a diagram that shows the unraveling of the mystery shots of Lavoy Finicum. And if you take a look at this thing, here's Lavoy over here, and here's the cone of fire. Okay? And you can pull this up on the website at OregonLive.com/Oregon-standoff. My problem with this still is this investigation does not match the independent autopsy that shows there were 9 bullet holes in Lavoy. They're not even coming close to that number. So where'd the other bullets come from? And this shows every detail of that shooting.
There were hunters in the area.
I guess there was something going on. There was something going on. And by the way, the cell phone video that's finally been released shows Lavoy's hands are up here. He takes a beanbag round in the ribs. He doubles over like this, and then he is shot. There was a canine on scene that was not used. There was a taser on scene that was not used. Folks, I don't care whether you love us, you hate us, or whether you think we're from the planet Mars. This man was assassinated. It was a planned assassination. And as I said months ago, you do not give the government a bloody nose, as they did at Bundy Ranch, and think that there's not going to be lethal retaliation. And that's what this was. This was lethal retaliation to show us right-wingers, you defy the government, you're going to die. Somebody's going to die. That's where we're at, folks.
Well, you know, and I mean, you look at all that. It's
And look at the whole picture. You got the Oregon State Police in a conspiracy with the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office, in a conspiracy with the DA's office and the feds, all of them conspiring to falsify information, steal shell casings, to cover the fact that the White House wanted someone dead.
they were the whole crux of this thing. They were going to just meet with these
Go
people.
ahead, caller.
Go ahead.
I do not mean this as a criticism. I am not going to criticize anything y'all say. But the Bundy Ranch situation, you have repeated that same thing at least 3 or 4 times. I think it's time to move on. I'm sorry. I'm not being critical of it. I just want to, your show is so important. The information y'all give out is so important. You don't need to, you got the idea. I don't think the audience caught on it. They don't need to. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye. Well, I don't agree with that.
We
Wholeheartedly.
will continue to put this out because there are new developments that are
Yes.
coming out, such as the fact that a Nevada grand jury, not the feds, is now going to try to indict people.
Didn't they arrest them, Bundy?
Oh
Again?
yeah, Bundy was arrested in Oregon. Now here comes another one. There is a constitutional sheriff in Minnesota who is protecting at least one person who was at the Malheur Refuge from the feds to ensure that the civil rights and procedures are followed. But here's the deal. If he turns the guy over to the feds, they can do what they want. Once the guy leaves his jurisdiction in Montana, they can do what they want, and they will. All you got to do is go reopen the old case of Jesse Trentadue in relation to the Oklahoma City bombing. He was beat to death, and his brother still doesn't have the facts of that because he was mistaken for being the third unindicted co-conspirator at the Oklahoma City bombing. And he ended up in federal custody and got beaten to death.
Our reporter on the street said that in the LaBoy thing, it was a magic bullet like with JFK.
Yeah, that's about the size of the conspiracy. You are correct, Brock. But the interesting thing about all of this is, folks, everybody wants to refer back to the rule of law. And Obama wants to refer to the rule of law when he's talking about
There is
Supreme
no
Court
rule of
nominees.
law.
No, we're following the golden rule now. The golden rule is he who has the gold makes up the rules.
Yep.
And that's where we're at.
There is so much money flowing in Washington. I mean, I wish, and I said it before, I didn't think I was as naive as I was. But now, doing research constantly and finding out how much money, we said it earlier in the first show, that Boehner and McConnell and these people just on one bill. And if you would look at that whole article, the amount of money that was paid out, this money ain't just coming within the borders of this
That's
country.
true.
And there's outside interest and the big money from China and the Middle East.
Saudi.
And Saudis, the Saudis especially. Everybody thinks the Saudis are our friend. Forget that. They are not our friend.
Right.
And people need to understand your people in Washington, D.C. don't care about you. All they want to do is fill their bank accounts. And I'm sorry, there may be a few, but until we term limit and clean house, forget it.
Now, we got some good news for a change. In a Supreme Court stunner, no pun intended, the Supreme Court has just ruled Monday that a Massachusetts court ruling that upheld a ban on stun guns was unconstitutional.
I read that article.
So basically what a lot of the legal people are inferring from this is that this is a very interesting ruling by this current sitting court, because it affirms the Second Amendment's use for arms for private defense, not the militia and not the government.
Exactly.
And they are extrapolating that a stun gun is a weapon that falls under the Second Amendment, which is also
And what
interesting.
brought that case around was a lady that used a stun gun, I believe.
Correct. And she was arrested in
She was
2011
arrested.
after they investigated a supermarket's complaint about shoplifting, and that they found the stun gun in her purse. And at the time, she said she needed it to fend off an abusive boyfriend. So in fact, it was mere possession. It was not use.
Yeah, what
And see, that's the problem in Massachusetts. I was familiar with a case years ago where a man was stopped on a traffic stop, and the Massachusetts State Police opened his trunk and found a pellet rifle and arrested him for felony possession of a firearm. He went up. He went up.
Oh, man.
Well, New Jersey is just as bad. New Jersey is just as
See, now,
bad.
my brother-in-law told me if I drove to Phoenix,
You're okay.
that I better not have any weapons in my car when
why?
I got
Why?
to the New Mexico Texas border.
Oh, New Mexico. Yeah, they get a little stupid.
Well, no, it's because you actually go through the border.
Nah, you're on
No.
I-10. You're on I-10.
No.
I'm a former DPS.
That's why.
I'm a former DPS Arizona employee. You are not crossing into Mexico in any way or form.
That's why the Tahoe would be a good vehicle.
Oh God. Oh God.
You have to see this, Joe. It is an incredible device. And it won't work unless you got the key to the car.
And by the way, one of the things I saw on TV that was interesting, talking about the Brussels issue, Bernie Sanders said on Fox yesterday that he wants to stop the recruiting of young people to be terrorists. Well, who does he send out with BLM and MoveOn.org? They are committing terrorist acts. He just doesn't want them going overseas to commit terrorist acts. He wants
is
them
that
to
what
be
it
here
is?
at his political rallies to do things.
In Chicago.
Yeah, at Trump rallies.
Wherever Trump's at.
At Trump rallies. And by the way, I've got the actual figures here. One source cited that we have had 154,160 Muslims admitted in the U.S. since 2008, and that's off the Drudge Report.
Pretty reliable.
Folks, what's this about he only wants 60,000? Well, add that to it. And by the way,
Oh, there's another neat thing too. New York, at the one airport in New York, UPS planes are landing.
and dropping off people.
No, then yeah, well, but the
Yeah.
funny part is how many times have you seen a UPS plane land at the airport, and there are coaches there, bus coaches?
Very rare.
Now the cargo is definitely not mail or otherwise.
And folks, here is one that hits home. The Jefferson Parish Sheriff, Newell Norman,
They took my
executed a raid on the Grand Isle Police Department.
This is awesome.
And we thought that that was pretty interesting because they executed a search warrant looking for missing evidence.
$4,000.
Sheriff Norman told the media that there were improprieties and things were problematic that run contrary to the normal procedures. Said an evidence bag with 87 grams of marijuana was ripped open. The marijuana was missing. Maybe Obama visited. Who knows?
Could be.
No destruction order was
Might have been
given.
when he was in New Orleans.
A gun was found in the desk of Police Chief Uris Dubois and asked about it. He said, I don't know. And the $4,000 missing from the cash box. And when asked if he ever conducted an inventory of the evidence box, Dubois replied, every now and then we open it up and we took an eyeball. Looks like they took more than an eyeball out of it, you know.
That people understand, this is a parish in New Orleans, Louisiana.
And this was interesting because they did this because Sheriff Newell Norman detailed cases of sloppy evidence storage and other improprieties on Grand Isle following the arrest of 21 suspects in an ongoing investigation into drug dealing on the island. JPSO investigators seized 32 guns. Police reports and other evidence from the department in a search warrant executed Tuesday, Norman said during a press conference, investigators found evidence of marijuana that had been torn open and it was missing. Now, here's the disclaimer. Sheriff Norman is not suggesting the chief did anything criminal. He says, I don't know, but we have a bunch of unanswered questions. We don't know who the gun owners are. We don't know about the keys to the cash box being in the barbecue pit outside and where the missing money is. Folks,
I didn't read that part.
Folks, this level of stupid, I mean, I think Sheriff Norman ought to be promoted to the White House and possibly to the Pentagon because, I mean, he could go into military intelligence. That's a good oxymoron.
Here's another enlightening thing that's just happened. When John Bell Edwards,
Oh, that's Dumbbell Edwards, thank you.
found out that there were more Republicans on the House Education Committee than Democrats.
He made adjustments.
Okay, my good friend Mr. Pope, he left. He wanted off of the Education Committee. It's a lot of stress. I mean, you sit there, you get pounded by parents, and then you get pounded by the money boys, and he just had enough. So he left. Then they had this really good anti-Common Core guy from Northwest Louisiana, which was representing that area up there on the Education Committee. He's gone. They put him on another committee. They pulled another one off, and now it's pretty well balanced. And I haven't been there yet.
Well, when you do,
and then
let
my
me know
very
when you go.
good friend Nancy Landry is the chairman. And we've already had several conversations.
Well, this next time you go, you better wear your body armor because I have a feeling it's going to get ugly.
I can't wear that there because it'll set off the metal detector.
You can wear your body armor over there. You take the trauma plates out and just go with the Kevlar. You're okay. We don't do this. By the way,
No, I'm
folks,
gonna wear a helmet. That's what I'm gonna wear.
in recent interviews, our wonderful Secretary of Defense, Ash Carter, wants more money to boost our forces in Europe. But how about paying our troops what they're supposed to be paid and boosting our forces here? Now, here was an interesting story, and I watched this interview on Fox. Steve Rogers, who is the former FBI Terror Task Force coordinator, said this. We are now living in World War III. It has already started.
Oh, yeah, it started already.
And he says that the reason why a lot of this stuff is going on is because people in Europe do not share intelligence. And this is just the icing on the cake, folks. It just gets better and better. Better and better.
When you look at, I mean, I brought up the Education Committee, and then I had this nitwit on Facebook.
Ooh.
And then that's saying it mildly.
Yes, we've both had nitwits.
And it makes a comment on there about the Common Core thing, how, well, during the elections, all those people were elected on the Bessie board and goes through all this stuff. And I'm going,
What an idiot.
I just could not write something. And so I wrote on there, lady, what rowboat did you come in on? First of all, the Bessie election was fought by big out-of-state money.
California money.
Period. Not
Hey,
just California money,
No, but
New
Jim,
York.
Jim, you know what we need to start call that? We need to start call that California dreaming. Because that multi-billionaire from California that gave all the money to Bofi,
What people don't understand is
Bofi's California
they now have a
dreaming.
charter school coalition with Grigsby and the previous superintendent to the idiot we have now, and that's saying it mildly, my good friend J.W. They put him in charge of the charter school stuff here in Louisiana.
Of course.
So people, and if you haven't watched before, Lane Grigsby builds buildings. The guy in L.A. wants to take over 52% of the L.A. schools with charter schools, which means they have to build buildings.
And books.
And now their goal here is to add 5 new charter schools in every parish.
That's a lot of buildings for Grigsby.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of big income for his building contractor, isn't he?
But you know what? I just remembered. I met Lane Grigsby.
My condolences.
I don't think our conversation was too good now that I recall.
Probably wasn't.
Something about, you shouldn't talk like that about some of our people that support our schools. And I went, what? And he went, you know, I'm very pro charter school. And I said, oh, then you're one of those idiots.
Ooh, Jim.
And walked away.
Ooh, Jim.
I read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. So
Jim, do you tell people when you first meet them, go ahead and pass me your cereal bowl so I can put salt in it right now so we can get off on the right foot? What's old Broad got to say?
oh, he's talking about, have you guys heard of Planet X?
Yes.
Have you seen it near the sun?
Haven't
then he
seen
sends us a picture.
No,
and that little dot is Planet X.
we've heard about it, but have not seen anything live until this point.
The other question he had is why all of a sudden the FBI dropped
Okay.
the case against Apple Incorporated.
This is why.
We have the answer to that.
This is
by the
why,
way,
because
'cause we discussed it.
the whole investigation with the terrorist cell phones at San Bernardino was a smokescreen. Number one, the FBI already had access to that cell phone and in fact told San Bernardino County, the owner of the cell phone, to change the password. 1. 2. It was never about San Bernardino. It was about 3 other pending terrorism cases that the FBI wanted to have
Exactly.
their own backstage, backdoor entrance without any court order so that they could do what they do when they want to do and violate the Fourth just
Do you
willy-nilly.
understand that any time they want, if they got that law passed,
Well, this is the kicker though, Jim. They already can.
yeah,
They don't care. They write their own search warrants as it is right now, called those intelligence letters. But the big thing is they already have hacking capabilities almost on par with the NSA.
oh yeah.
So it was not that issue. They want just to be able to circumvent the Constitution on its face. But no, Jim, the FBI would never violate the law.
Oh no, not your personal privacy.
Let's send a 1-800 call through Miss Cleo to 68 men, women, and children who died at Waco and see what they think about it. Oh, and let's add Vicki Weaver and Sammy Weaver to that pile too, and see what they think about how well the FBI follows the
I got
law.
a question, something that I can't find an answer to. You know the new debit cards?
With the stuff with the
Where
codes on
you
them.
plug it in.
Yeah.
What information are they getting off of that?
Oh, let me tell you what happens when you go to the wrong gas station.
Oh yeah,
I went.
this is a good one. This morning.
I went 2 months ago. I went to fill up at the gas station that's on the corner of Camellia Boulevard and Johnson, right there on the corner. I'm a former police officer, and I looked at this pump up and down, side to side. There was nothing additional on this pump. My credit card information was stolen, and this was on a Wednesday before coming to this show. And by Saturday morning, I'm getting an email and a text alert from my bank notifying me that, in fact, my card had been taken and for me to contact the bank. Well, I went down to the bank, and luckily my bank is open on Saturday morning.
Uh-oh.
And I was able to get my business fixed up.
Goat herder got his phone back. Go ahead.
Yeah, all that NSA and all that, Jim and Brett, they couldn't catch them 2 bombers in Boston, and they couldn't catch them 2 shooters in...
Amazing, huh?
And there are always and forever breaking the Fourth Amendment.
Well, John, the only time they could catch an STD is if they went and hung out with Hillary and Bill. About all they could catch.
I don't hang around in that crowd.
No, you hanging with the goats, you're safe.
All they want to do is they want to listen to our little conversations, and they don't do a cotton picking thing with
Well,
them.
John, you do know we've discussed it before at the meetings that the FBI since 9/11 has not had a single successful anti-terrorist operation without the use of a person they plant inside a group to instigate the action, and then they provide the materials to do the act. Other than that, they couldn't find their 10 toes in the dark without help.
All them alphabet outfits there, them NSA and all them three-letter alphabets,
I like that.
Alphabet.
We call them alphabet soup.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're all a bunch of comrades, they're all up in arms.
More than you would know.
Because we believe in the Constitution.
Yep, obviously they don't.
That's a really bad idea.
What? Believing in the Constitution?
Believing in the Constitution.
Well, that's the definition of a terrorist. Anybody that is a sovereign citizen, believes in the U.S. Constitution, is a gun owner, is by definition to the feds a terrorist.
I see you got your landline back, huh?
Yeah, it gave me a regular sign that I could use it. It didn't give me the bomb.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's weird over here.
You sure they weren't just instilling some software on your phone?
It's already there.
It's already there.
It's already
I don't
there.
know what I'm doing with it anyway.
It's already there.
Pick it up and say, hello, is that you?
They probably want to know why you got all them goats.
Well, they haven't got one. She hurt herself there. I've been bandaging her up there, but it's working out okay.
We're not going to ask. It's okay.
No, really, we're not going there. All right, buddy.
All right, y'all take care.
Later.
Folks, something that was very interesting that I saw on the hayride is that old buddy Mitch Landrieu is in trouble because he has to now reveal who is on the city contract list
Oh, yeah.
in New Orleans.
Actually, that's a violation of a law.
A judge has ordered that he will reveal it, and folks, there are people who are major worried in New Orleans because some very, very big contracts have been given to everybody's buddies. Little thing called political patronage. You know the buddy system?
They don't do that in New Orleans. Nah.
They do a lot of things. Here's
That's
another
why,
interesting.
That's why nagging. But here's the interesting thing. The first guy that they had signed the contract, and then he got threatened. So our illustrious mayor, Landrieu in New Orleans, says, okay, this ain't going to work. Because there's over 5,000 people on that Facebook
Big names.
page.
Big
names on that Facebook page.
Big bucks, kickbacks.
Big bucks. And I, for the first time, got to drive around. I got lost, and my GPS misguided me, and I got to drive around actually, it's pretty nice, Lee Circle. They don't want to destroy that. But the thing is, now no contractor is going to take that on.
Excellent.
And the reason being is
They got threatened.
the first guy got threatened, and he said that he not only got threatened, he got told that his business will be over.
Didn't his car get burned down?
Something.
I was reading about they burned his car to the ground too. So that's an interesting thing.
Our guy was talking about John here. Brock said they're trying to get to his goats for the Muslims.
So we're gonna have to get PETA to come out and protect the goats from the Muslims. You know, we're afraid of there being inappropriate things happening to goats.
Inappropriate things,
You know?
yes.
Here was something that's very interesting that I saw on the net that we need to talk about. Currently, 79 members of the U.S. Congress have been there 20 years or more.
Oh,
In 47, Congress passed the 22nd Amendment that limited the president to 2 terms. In fact, I think FDR was the last president to do more than 2.
yeah.
And they said that it was because too much power for too long is a threat to our freedom. No. You mean like John Boehner and Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan?
They're nice guys.
Okay.
John McCain, he's gone.
By the way, yeah, he has an election.
Kelly Ward is kicking
Well, we
butt
hope.
in
We hope.
Arizona.
Keep our fingers crossed. John Kasich was on Fox and says we need a coalition to defeat ISIS. Is that schizophrenic? Because that means that we would need to put together a group to attack ourselves. Is that like a Democrat firing squad? I don't know.
I like the other one. Why are we sending money to countries that say death to America? Oh,
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just a couple quick comments on something. And I know you know this. Given the fact that the Cuban government is run by the military, the only people that's going to benefit is the two murderous Castro brothers and the military.
You are correct.
The Cuban people are going to get zilch, and the American people are going to get zero out of this, so say, better relations with Cuba. And my last comment is, for Obama, just when I thought Obama could go no lower, it's stupid. I can't say the word, but this
We understand.
Going to sit down with milk and cookies with Raul Castro. Are you kidding me? Man, I hope they keep that
I know.
punk over there. Thank you for the call, man. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. He
We
makes
agree.
a good point. I mean, he really makes a good point.
The Daily News Service has got to be doing drugs. They claim that Hillary is the most honest candidate in the presidential race. When I read that, I almost fell off. If I could have fallen off my sofa, I would have. You know?
What makes him say that?
Now, when you want to know how bad things can get, the Daily Caller had a good one. Elizabeth Rivera of Puerto Rico is a VA worker. She goes out and is caught and charged and enters a guilty plea to armed robbery. And the VA has a union that put her back on the job and got her back pay for her time she was in jail.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kinda
The
like
EU,
the crap going on in Louisiana.
yeah, the
with that
EU
idiot.
is now doing border checkpoints again and stopping the you can cross any border you want over there after the Brussels thing. So that was pretty interesting. Now here goes some other interesting things. That Ms. Nicole Wallace, according to Breitbart, who is the former communications chief for the Bush re-election campaign and the advisor for McCain's campaign, actually says that we should consider Hillary if counterterrorism worries us. I will say several
Repeat that?
things.
Can you repeat that?
Yes. A conservative named Nicole Wallace says that if we're worried about counterterrorism, we should consider Hillary
Benghazi.
and Arab Spring and Gaddafi. All of this is Hillary's mess. She can't even keep her own house clean. And folks, this stuff is so warped. We can't even. I couldn't make this stuff up. I couldn't dream up lies this good if I was on crack. It's amazing. It is just amazing.
Kind of like the Davis brothers, huh?
Oh, let's cover that. It has come to our attention that bard of honesty and racial integrity, Mr. Greg Davis of the Cajun Dome fame, has encountered a little problem. He is the racial bigot who would like to have the Mouton statue taken
we
down.
want to go meet with him now.
Well,
May not be a good time.
well, it is what it is. He's a
Yeah.
racial bigot who wants the Mouton statue taken down and is a racial activist. Well, he's got a little problem.
He has a little
because
problem
his
right
son, Greg Davis Jr., and another relative have stolen approximately $40-something thousand from the parking meters.
Funded the parking meter money through a financial institution.
I would suggest that Mr. Greg Davis, instead of worrying about our Confederate heritage and his blacktivist goals, should focus more on how he didn't raise his son correctly and worry about his own house and put that in order and learn how to be a father, which is a problem in the black community because there are none. And he should really learn to step up and be a man and be a father to his sons instead of worrying about rewriting heritage about the lie over our Confederate history.
Roger that.
I can see our meeting is going to go well with him. But it's interesting. I know Greg Davis for quite a few years. And I'll give him this, during the stuff, the hurricane and what went on at the Cajun Dome, he did a pretty good job. He really kept the Red Cross in
Well, that was
control.
before he wanted to try to steal my Confederate heritage.
But the thing is that I look at all of this and I said it's a copycat theory.
What's that?
It's the copycat theory. New Orleans is doing it, so we got to start something in Lafayette.
Oh, the stealing?
My question
The
is,
stealing?
yeah, my question is,
Seems to be universal.
what are we gonna, how are we gonna rename Beauregard Parish and Camp Beauregard? Just to start with.
Well,
it.
they'll call it
And then-
Malcolm
and
X
then
Parish
I
and
could
Martin
be-
Luther King
I could
base.
be. This will get me in trouble. I could say that Martin Luther King offends me.
So
Martin
all the
Luther
roads
King-
should be renamed.
Yeah.
That was done
I
with
mean,
public
we
money
should do
too.
away with all
Wait, Jim.
political and historical names for any streets.
Jim, do you remember our caller, the black fellow who called us a few weeks ago? No public money. We shouldn't call the Cajun Dome because it was done with public money. Okay, all these roads are named Martin Luther King Drive, and that was done with public money. I find it offensive.
It's
Got to
like-
be changed.
I mean, that's how silly we can get. History is history.
And by the way,
and the thing is,
they don't even follow Martin Luther King's teachings.
no,
That's the best part. They don't even follow his teachings.
I can imagine that man's flipped over in his grave many times. All the things, and he wasn't perfect, but all the things that
He wasn't violent. He didn't advocate what they're doing now.
No, he was not a
He
violent
didn't
leader.
advocate polar bear hunting, the knockout games, the Ferguson. And the interesting
Black
thing about
Lives
Ferguson is Black Lives Matter burnt their own businesses down. Do you know that the citizens of Ferguson are now trying to sue one of the little stores chains because they won't rebuild after it got burned down twice?
Gee, I wonder why.
But they're trying to sue over that.
You know, in Baltimore, they're looking for $21 million to rebuild the community.
That was burnt down by the yo-yos.
Then, wait, let's step back there.
I thought I was being nice.
Didn't the mayor say,
Go out and do it.
Stand down?
Okay, I think that the mayor should be charged with a conspiracy to commit rioting and criminal damage to property, because did she not tell those people to go out and blow off steam and do these things?
Exactly.
In a public medium, I think that's called a conspiracy.
But my question is if you have the shoe on the other foot,
It's never on the other foot.
have you seen any riots? Burn down us burning down our own
No, you mean
neighborhood?
conservatives don't do that.
Yeah.
No, we don't do that. In fact,
Well, someone gave a good definition of that. We don't have time because we're
all
out
working. well, they all said that the safest thing in Ferguson was to put a set of work shoes outside one of the businesses. Nobody would steal that. Nobody goes to work. Everybody's getting paid by Soros. So
Look, we don't mean to make light of this, but this is what our world is today. This is the honest truth. You watch the media. Oh, don't talk about that. We can't talk
Muslims
about
are
that.
good.
We
Muslims are
can't talk
great.
about that. You know, we covered something a little earlier that really surprises me. It shows me the lack of intelligence by some of these women that say, what's that? The one in California, I forget her name. She's a real wild, crazy one. Anyways, Sharia law would be a good thing, ma'am.
Well, you got Barbara Boxer, Nancy Pelosi. Was it Pelosi?
Yeah, Pelosi and Boxer.
I think that
Here-
they should be
here-
shipped off to the Middle East to experience Sharia law.
No, we
and
don't-
when they end up
Yeah.
sleeping with the horses outside and get their second beating for the day because they
No.
didn't do what they're supposed to do,
We just
they
need
might
to
learn something.
send them to Michigan,
Dearborn.
Dearborn, Michigan.
Oh, but the overseas flight anticipation of an ISIS wedding to a jihadi would make Nancy Pelosi so happy. Because over there, they don't have fancy plastic surgery. They just apply the fist and adjust your face.
I mean,
Take you out back and have a counseling
I try
session.
I try to figure out, you know, we know what happens.
We have 1,400 years of what happened.
And we understand what the deal's about. And you're telling me, and it comes down to one thing.
Stupidity.
Well, no, first of all, that if that really happened, they would be in some fortress underground.
Well, we know what happened with Nancy Pelosi. She's had so many face tucks and so much plastic surgery, her ears actually touch in the back,
If she
and they
really-
can't stretch her anymore,
you know
so she's
what, if
actually got
she-
stupid.
Seriously, if she laughs too hard, some things might start popping.
We understand if you look in the back of her head, under her hair, they've actually got a T-handle slot, so they don't have to actually put her ears together anymore. They can just crank up a notch whenever they need to. But it does affect her IQ and her hearing, so she's a little
All right,
stupid.
we got to get back to.
Of course, she's getting more stupid, so.
Here's one. The Supreme Court issues shocking ruling in first post-Scalia Second Amendment case. The court overturned a decision, you talked about this earlier,
Yeah, the stun gun case.
that determined that stun guns were not covered by the Second Amendment.
And now it says they are.
The reason I brought this up again, how about our boy Cassidy? What did he say we should do about the Supreme Court guy? Didn't he say we should look into this?
I mean, the death of Scalia?
No, not the death of Scalia, the new guy that they want.
Oh, you mean Garland, Merrick?
Yeah, Garland. And really, and I've just had some good conversations with that man. And then he voted for something else. What did he vote for?
Yeah, he voted to put the communist in charge of the Board of Education at the national
Yes.
level.
Really, Cassidy? I mean, really? That guy is a socialistic communist of the highest degree, chosen by our fearless, well, I don't call him a leader, idiot,
Dope smoker.
but you voted, and then you wonder why your people in Louisiana are pissed off at you? You do dumb things. Do you know how many parents you pissed off? You won't get reelected, I can guarantee you that. Just on that basis right there. On the educational side of things.
He continues to vote on the wrong side of history.
And there is something that I really am gonna jump on here soon. Is Bob Henskin, a good friend of mine from down in the Kaplan area, Abbeville area, has a bill, and he had it on the table last year, and they pulled it off because of the compromise for the rebranding of Common Core, which we knew never was going to happen. To tighten the ethics rules of conflict of interest for Bessie and the Louisiana Board.
Well, currently we have
Of
no
education.
ethics at all, thanks to gender.
Well,
so-
I think that we need to look at another way of the ethics board itself.
well, we
But
first
we need
have
to
to have
support that bill, and I apologize. Things have been a little hectic around my house in the last couple of weeks, and I wanted to have some bill numbers for y'all to be calling.
Speaking of bill numbers, next week we will actually have the House bill number. There is a bill in the House under consideration right now, folks, for a 10-day waiting period to buy a gun.
Never gonna pass.
Folks, y'all need to get on the phone and contact who you think you need to call, and we're going to call some of our good conservative people because, folks, this is not California.
You know what kind of person that is?
We're not going to tolerate this.
It's a Democrat.
No!
Surprise. I knew you'd be surprised.
Oh, I'm
It's
shocked.
a Democrat that wrote that bill.
Speaking of shock, after Brussels, that wonderful, virtuous woman Hillary says she wants more surveillance. Hillary wants more honest reckoning, and when she said it, I want to take her to the Catholic Church and dip her hand in the holy water and see if we make coffee. It ought to go up like a flash powder. Boom! You know, I'm going, good Lord, every time this woman opens her mouth. Every time she opens her mouth. It's amazing. It is amazing. Oh, by the way, for you folks who didn't hear this, we have some Marines that were just hit in Iraq by ISIS. Now, the significance of this is ISIS knew their exact location. So my question is, did Secretary Kerry or Obama or Valerie Jarrett give ISIS the exact location of our Marines the same way they did our sailors who were in
There is no
in the
doubt.
Gulf
There's
going
no
down,
doubt.
you know?
You know, My days of thinking the government won't do this are over.
Folks, the other question I had was, why did the cops in Arizona wait so long to unblock that road? I want to know why it took them so long. Because I guarantee you, if we got 10 white folks and we went and shut down the thruway by pulling our cars across it at 5 o'clock traffic, I have a feeling that those people would be sitting in the Lafayette Parish Jail within the hour.
Exactly.
I want to know why it took so long.
And Sheriff Joe.
I don't understand why it took so long, folks.
But why Sheriff Joe arrested 3 of them? But and one of the other things with Trump, when he comes into the airport, they have all the police there with the motorcycles, and every time he lands, he goes and shakes every one of
I
those
saw that.
police officers.
And by the way, as a passing note,
Got about
in
30
2014, ICE released 30,000 aliens who were convicted of 92,000 crimes. Only 3% were deported.
Better go fast.
Make it quick.
No, you just got rid of him.
Oh, I'm sorry, I hung you up. Call back.
Call back next week.
Yeah. You can call back. I hit the wrong button. There we go.
Go ahead.
Make it quick and have a great